From this spot, on October 11, 1794, President George Washington reviewed approximately 3,500 troops of the Whiskey Army as they departed Carlisle en route to Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, for their ultimate destination of Bedford. There was a couple of things that was significant about Washington's presence here on this day. First, he was the sitting president of the United States, and he is the only sitting president to have ever taken command of an army in the field. Second, the first time that the Army of the United States had ever been raised to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, was the Whiskey Rebellion. This was no longer the Revolutionary Army of 1776. The Army of 1794 was the Army of the Constitution, and George Washington had made the deliberate decision to take command of that army in the field, to reassure both the populace it was designed to protect, and to steady the army and its leadership in the face of a very difficult mission to restore domestic peace and tranquility in western Pennsylvania.
The Whiskey Army, dubbed the Watermelon Army by the rebels, totaled slightly less than 13,000 men. The reasons Washington made the decision to exercise personal command over the army in the field were twofold. The first was practical. In October of 1794, President George Washington was the only American who had military experience commanding large armies distributed over substantial distances. The second reason was significantly more complex, and in being so, was crucial to the future unity of the Republic. Washington was exceptionally conscious that he was setting precedent as the first chief executive to exercise the powers of his office to enforce civil order. The success or failure of this effort would define American civil-military relations for centuries, and possibly even determine whether the nation would survive as a democratic republic. His purpose was not to crush the rebellion through overwhelming violence. His purpose was to defuse the rebellion through a show of overwhelming force. As the embodiment of the cause of independence, Washington realized that his very presence would lend credibility, legitimacy, and a sense of fairness to the government's efforts to restore order and enforce the laws. Many of the Whiskey rebels had served under Washington in the Continental Army. They would respect his authority as their elected president and their commander-in-chief. Thus, Washington's presence on this street corner, in his dual capacity as president and commander-in-chief, laid the foundation that governs today's policies regarding the rare, limited, and restrained use of the armed forces to preserve and enforce civil law and order.